Let's see how this goes. And it looks like we are off. So good luck to both racers. We're seeing a early mushroom grab from both racers here. I think we are going to see some... I'm not sure about Garion, but I know about Ace. He is definitely a proponent of the tail strats. So big on feet strats, big on tail strats for Ace. And Ace making it through 1-1 just slightly before Garion, but still plenty of race to go. So it seems like if you guys are a fan of the tail strats, you are in the right race channel today. Both players electing to get the leaf, get the tail in 1-1, carrying it through 1-2. Which should actually make the second half of the fortress you're about to see a little bit quicker. A little bit easier, because they will not have to stop for a tail. It will just be able to fly directly up as long as they can keep it through the fortress. And you see Ace taking flight right there, going up to get the whistle. And we should see the same thing from Garion right here, and he does make it up there. See, Garion actually losing his tail in this stage. And actually losing his mushroom there, letting off of the down arrow off of the slide a little bit too early there. He's going to wait for this Piranha Plant to shoot his fireball before he gets out of here safely. Ace doing a good job to get P-Speed on that platform. It's a little bit trickier than you might think. The one-tile gap can actually prevent you from getting P-Speed there, but he does a good job there and is able to fly over the rest of the stage. And Garion electing to take the extra safe route here rather than getting P-Speed. And Ace getting fire from the Hammer Brother. He'll be making his way on to the first auto-scroller of the run. Ace picking up an extra fire flower there for a good measure. And extra points. Not really much to say when both players are in auto-scrollers, which I'm sure we'll see more of today at some point. Ace maybe going for a fire kill of some sort, but actually losing his fire flower, but I think he'll want to get a tail later on anyway, so he's probably not too hurt by that. He'll, if I recall in the other race that I commentated for him, I think he will pick up a tail in 2-1. Meanwhile, Garion making it to the end, narrowly avoiding a Bullet Bill clip in the back there, keeping his fire through here. And electing to play it a little bit safer on the first Koopaling. So Ace building a small lead out of World 1. And he is actually not stopping to pick up his tail here. Let's see if he picks it up anywhere else. And actually ends up losing an A input there, I'm going to say, and not jumping over that final Piranha Plant. So he'll go into 2-2 as Small Mario. So he will not be able to pick up the tail easily in the beginning of the stage. He'll get the mushroom instead. Meanwhile, Garion holding on to his fire power up, making it through 2-1 rather. Does a good job to avoid the final Piranha Plant. And Garion rather, deciding to give up his Fire Flower in lieu of a tail here, going back to the tail strats. Interested to see when Ace is going to pick up another tail. And just as soon as Garion picks his up, later in the stage, he loses it again. So interested to see where both these players are planning on picking up power-ups. Ace got to be a little careful here, but I think he's going to make it through. Garion almost picking up P-Speed in the first room of the Fortress of World 2. Not quite there, but he will pick it up right here, running to the door to get it into the second to last room of the stage. Ace also electing to play it safe with this Koopa, bouncing back and forth down here. It's maybe a good idea. It only saves a few seconds, but if you're Small Mario and you're worried about making a mistake down there, I can agree with that strategy, especially in a tournament race. All right, Ace doing a good job so far. I'm making it past the sun, and I think I cursed him. I didn't curse him. It's a 40-second delay. So I'm seeing this 40 seconds after it happened. But unfortunately, the tip of the sun just clipping into Mario's foot there, and Ace taking a death. And we see a death from Garion as well, trying to get a little bit too quick with that Koopa shell, as I was talking about earlier. Ace barely making it past the sun. It looked like that sun might have come up from the back and hit Mario in the foot again, but getting a little bit lucky there maybe. I think there might be a little bit of sound delay on my end. I'm going to see what happens if I refresh it. Yeah, a little bit of sound delay on Ace. We'll keep an eye on that and maybe switch over if we can later. Meanwhile, Garion making his way into the sun stage. We'll see if he has any better luck than Ace did. And there's Ace picking up his tail again, so he's not going to necessarily have to rely on these Buzzy Beetles to break down these walls to get through the pyramid. We'll see him avoiding here. Taking one Buzzy Beetle to kill another one. That's a kind of a neat little strat right there. Meanwhile, Garion electing to play 2-4, which you're not going to see. You might see it from some of the higher level runners. 2-4 is certainly one that I try to avoid. It's a little bit more difficult with P-Speed strats and a lot of things getting in the way. A lot of opportunity to take a death or to lose power-ups. But looks like Garion's going to be able to make it out with the tail. Meanwhile, Ace making his way into the second airship. We're going to see he's going to go for some bullet bill bounce strats. Maybe get some extra points. Maybe some extra lives if he can chain some together. Want to be careful not to lose a power-up trying to do it, but it would be some pretty cool swag to see. Well, we got Garion flying over the end of the stage. Trying to go back for a Buzzy Beetle, but maybe not remembering he has a tail. Well, not anymore. He just lost his tail. He could have used that tail to break that wall, but I'm not really sure why he's going back here. Now he's lost 2 power-ups and a life. Kind of interested to, I guess, going down the slope while holding a shell will not doesn't really work out too well. So that's a good thing to know. We'll see him stop and pick up this power-up again. Meanwhile, we've got about a 1042 wand grab, I think, for AceOfArrows. We do see Garion taking another death in the pyramid here. So maybe wanting to be a little bit more careful here. And Garion losing another power up here trying to break this wall. And does manage to break the wall. Now he's just got to get past this piranha plant and a hammer bro on the other side of this pipe. And the hammer bro moves forward for him, so it makes it pretty easy. Ace got the fire flower now, so we're going to see if he uses any fire strats at any of these upcoming levels before he has a chance to pick up another leaf. I'm just trying to think of the next place where a leaf might be. I don't normally stop for a leaf in World 3, so I don't really know where it's going to be, but we'll see. I'm sure Ace will be able to show us where it is. Meanwhile, Garion, looking back over, looks like he's taken a death in the auto-scroller of World 2. That is a certainly unfortunate death. Going in as Small Mario, you got to really be careful and pay attention to when these bullets are firing, when these cannonballs are firing. Any small misstep can lead to having to chase an airship around the overworld. Meanwhile, Ace doing a really good job of getting through this fortress, killing Boom Boom, keeping the fire. Ace using his fire to clear out some of those piranha plants. Going to make it pretty easily through this. We will see a little bit of P-speed from him. We'll see if he stops and picks up this power-up. It looks like he's going to. So this looks like a stage that Ace has practiced turning around to snipe one of those spiny eggs. Just for good measure. Meanwhile, Garion making it through this time with about a 1402 wand grab. So I think that's about a 3-minute and 20-second difference between these two runners right now. And it looks like Ace is going down to fight the hammer bro with the hammer, forgetting about that one. So he will be able to use the cloud to skip over the next stage and make it to our second boss bass stage. Does a good job turning around, releasing the white block to kill Boss Bass. And he'll make it through. This is a stage you really don't want to die on after using the cloud in the previous stage, because those bridges are going to open on the overworld. Then you're going to have to take an intentional death, or rather, you're going to have to play through an auto scroller just to get back to this level if you die. Meanwhile, Garion taking a hit right at the end of 3-1. We'll see. Are we going to see an H jump from Ace? The setup looks good. He almost had it. It looks like he didn't quite hit the A button in time. Luckily, he will be able to stop and get his Fire Flower back right here. That was a pretty good-looking setup. I think he just missed the A press. Garion electing to take it safe on this platform, avoiding the cheeps. About halfway through this level now. And takes a cheap to the face. Actually falls off the platform, manages to get back on. And then he falls back in the water. This is... hopefully he can get back up there before any other cheeps try to get him. And tries to get that mushroom and ends up taking another cheep to the face. Garion having some pretty rough luck on 3-2. Meanwhile, Ace already making his way to the beginning of Wendy's airship. This is a fight that you really want to have fire for. It's a pretty easy fire kill. It's much more difficult, I think, without fire. So we'll see. Hopefully Ace can get through this fight without taking any damage or taking at least more than 2 hits. We'll see if he stops to get his tail. And as expected, of course, he does. Well, Ace, a little bit of swag from Ace, getting some chain bounces off of the Rocky Wrenches. Taking a little bit of damage there early from Wendy's projectile, but doing a good job on all 3 hits to hit her as soon as she lands, not letting her launch any other projectiles or start jumping around the room. So that's a really good non-fire kill from Ace right there. See Garion making his way into the first fortress of World 3. The only fortress you'll see in this run. It's one of the first maze levels in the game where you kind of have to figure out which door to go into. Makes quick work of Boom Boom with the fire. Meanwhile, we're going to see Ace moving on into Big World. World number 4. Looks like okay, he's stopping to get his tail. I was wondering if he was going for a shell P-speed setup. Elected to get the tail instead. And he'll flutter right on into the pipe. A pretty clean 4-1 from Ace. We see Garion actually having to go into the water and spawn a block to jump up. Taking more damage from cheeps. These cheeps are not being kind to Garion today. Well, Ace making it through 4-2 with his tail. 4-3 going to be an interesting stage. I've never seen it done with a tail. We may see a safer strat taken here. Or we may see a tail strat that I've never seen before, so... We see him using a star here to make sure he doesn't have to anticipate whether or not these big bros are going to jump. He's going to take this Buzzy Beetle shell with him. Doing a good job to make it through the stage with it to kill those other 2 Buzzies. And doing a really nice job to make it through that stage without taking any damage. Meanwhile, Garion having a battle with Boss Bass right now. Again, I'm assuming he's used his cloud. I didn't see whether or not he's used it yet, but he's just going to wait out Boss Bass, jump when he can. Try not to get eaten, because you really do not want to die on this stage if you've used a cloud in the previous stage. Luckily, he does make it through. Ace going for an extra little speed strat there, losing his tail in the process, but it's going to make for a pretty fast level nonetheless for him. I was thinking maybe Garion was going to go for an H jump there. It looked like he was getting up P-speed to do it. Elects to stop for the mushroom instead. Meanwhile, Ace picking up the only truly, I won't say mandatory, because none of the items are mandatory on Warpless, but you definitely want to get the Cloud, and the P-Wing as well. So these are the two bros he wants to fight. I think there will be one more, and it's going to go right to him, so he's going to lose a little bit of time fighting this extra bro. He may have had another star routed into his run anyway, so that may not hurt him so bad. Meanwhile, Garion making his way to Wendy's castle now. And I think we've already seen 2 star uses from Ace, so maybe we're seeing where that extra star is coming in handy for him. Ace gonna make his way to the fortress, the only fortress that you normally play in Warpless, unless you have the early hammer from World 2. Stopping to get the fire here, almost making it up that shaft off of that dry bones bounce. But a pretty clean fortress nonetheless for Ace. Meanwhile, we see Garion taking death to one of the projectiles. This is another one of those worlds that you really don't want to lose to in an auto-scroller. We'll see if he's gotten any kind of friendly spawn. Luckily, he's gotten a friendly spawn. Checking his inventory, not really sure if he wants to use anything, but electing to go back at it. The small Mario. He will have the chance to get a mushroom in this auto-scroller, so... Meanwhile, Ace making his way to the auto-scroller in the slowest auto-scroller in the game of World 4, so if anybody needs to stand up, stretch, use the restroom, grab a snack, grab a drink, take a nap, write an essay, call someone to save some money on your car insurance, now's the time to do it, because we're going to have... Ace is going to be in this level for quite a while. Luckily, Garion taking his mushroom into this fight with Wendy. Let's hope he can have just as clean of a fight. It looks like he is going to look for any other blocks there. Maybe in a randomizer, but not in vanilla. So he's making it through. Only one hit left on Wendy. Avoiding hits so far. And manages to get an upward jump bounce onto her head there. So luckily, Garion not having to play that airship again. Again, not much to say about this airship that Ace is in right now. But relatively clean run from Ace so far. I'm not sure exactly what strats he normally uses and how if he's had any differing strats in this run or things that he would like to go a different way, but it seems like a pretty clean run so far. Gets some good hit boxes on that Koopaling, and he is going to be moving on to World 5. Let's see, Garion moving on to it's kind of this weird up and down scrolling level. It doesn't scroll left to right, but it kind of bounces up and down. 4-2, we saw Ace use some tail strats here, and we're going to see Garion narrowly keep his tail right there, but I was hoping to see him fly over more of that stage, but he does make it through just nicely. Meanwhile, we're going to see Ace stop for a star at the top of the mountain. I didn't actually even know that was there. Get a little bit of P-speed at the end of the stage with that. We're going to see Ace go into what is a pretty simple level, but if you fall down here, it can be really detrimental, a real big time loss, but Ace really doing a good job to get up to the pipe there. You're going to see a little more butt slide action from Mario here. And pretty good stage all around from Ace. We're going to see Garion make it through 4-3, another hectic stage. He does actually make it out with both power-ups intact. Not the easiest to do, even if you do know the P-speed strats. I see Ace electing to use another star here, so it does seem that he's routed a lot of stars into his run. Jumping up to kill that Thwomp with the star power, just for good measure again. Seen a lot of overkill on some of these enemies from Ace. And Garion going for a skip on Lakitu there, but unable to get it. We'll see. Usually, the best thing to do if you don't have 2 hits to give, or if you've only got 0 hits to give, is maybe swim towards the bottom of this, and so you'll be able to anticipate where the spiny eggs are coming from. Can help you avoid taking another hit here. We're going to see Ace in the Spiral Fortress, grabbing his tail again. And taking a double damage boost. Not sure if that was intentional. I'm sure he'd rather not have taken a double damage boost, but that could have been expected. Yeah, seeing the bottom of 5-2, like Proe said in chat, that is very much something that you'd never like to see in any category of this game. It is kind of like DLC for sure. You're going to see Ace making it through the first sky level of World 5. Taking it pretty easy. This is a pretty easy level if you use P-speed strats on that level to get tripped up on. I've seen even some really high-level runners elect to not go for P-speed there at times, so good to see him making it through there. And we'll see him get back his tail here. And going down a pipe, which you won't see many runners go through. Electing to get the Tanuki suit just for a little bit more swag. I appreciate it very much. Love seeing the swag. Meanwhile, Garion not bouncing off the dry bones to get up to that donut platform means he's going to fall directly into the lava. You can get up there if you gain a little more speed before the jump, but it's still a tight jump. Unfortunately, taking a death there. We'll see if he bounces off this time. He doesn't. But he does end up building up speed to get up on that platform. And unfortunately, Ace gonna lose the Tanuki suit. Not gonna give us any more of that. Maybe we'll see it later in the run. Ace fighting an extra bro here. I guess it was in his way. Yeah, it was in his way. I didn't see on the overworld beforehand. But now moving into the Sky Fortress, which is a terrifying fortress. Lava on the ceiling and the ground. Podoboo's jumping up everywhere. There's, like skinning a cat, there's 100 different ways to play this level, so luckily we see him get the power up where he wants it, make it through there without falling in any lava, and should make pretty quick work of Boom Boom. Meanwhile, we've got Garion now in the slowest auto-scroller in the game. If you didn't quite finish up your conversation with Geico earlier, you can call him back now. And Ace making his way into what Nintendo Player's Guide said was an impossible level to do without getting hit. We're seeing a little bit of a shell swag here. Wow, kind of a little swaggy strat there. I really appreciate that from Ace. Ace putting on a good show for us today. Ace saying there was going to be some Podoboo stomping, but I guess not making it through the Tanuki suit. Not able to use the Tanuki swag strats there. We'll see him making it onto Roy's airship of World 5. We'll see if he elects to get the Fire Flower here. He does spawn it. He may be thinking about it. He's getting it. Meanwhile, Garion making his way into in this Koopaling battle of World 4. And getting a high jump right there, losing his mushroom, but gets the third hit, and he'll be making his way onto World 5 as well. So this is actually this battle you're seeing Ace do right now. The first Koopa, the first Koopa kid, if you're not aware, who can actually, when he jumps and lands on the ground, will actually stun Mario if Mario is landed on the ground. Ace making it through there pretty easy, keeping his fire. Meanwhile, we're seeing Garion with his mushroom now, trying to climb the mountain of 5-1. We'll see if he stops for the star as well to get a little extra P speed, or if he takes a damage boost or something towards the end. Or he does end up taking a damage right there, but he will stop for the star as well, and just gets that chain chomp denying him of the star, so he will have to play that one over. Ace gonna skip ahead here, skip the first 3 stages, and he's going to use his first hammer of the run right there. Going to fight against these bros, and then he will be going into the fortress, skipping levels 1 through 3 of World 6. That chain chomp just not letting Garion have any fun today, and the other chain chomp gets him too. That's very unfortunate. All he wanted to do was get that star, and he's just been denied twice. He may elect to just skip over the star this time. Ace taking the damage boost on the spikes to make this fortress significantly quicker. And we'll see him get a star here and try to run into Boom Boom's room. And he just misses the star and goes back for it, gets hit by the waffle. So both players being denied their stars. Garion finally able to get his in 5-1. Ace smartly choosing not to try to go for that power-up. The only time I believe you can actually get that power up and make it back up to the spikes is if you already have mushroom and it turns into a leaf. Garion doing a good job, nice and easy in 5-2, not falling in the pit of despair. This time Ace is getting the star. He missed the door. I think he'll still have enough time to make it to Boom Boom. Is he going to go for it? He went for it. And I think he just got there in the nick of time. It looked like he didn't have any star power by the time Boom Boom was gone. But spawns the upside down orb, and he'll be moving on. hopping over the blocks and the platforms here. We will see him spawn the P-switch. Jump over the fire chomp here. Avoid these spinners because they can throw you any which direction. Completely unpredictable. Meanwhile, Garion making his way through the ground fort. Nice little flow to the ground fort. Unfortunately, losing his mushroom on the previous boo and then getting hit by the thwomp means he'll have to play that one again. Ace just barely missing out on the mushroom right there. I think that was the star bro he just fought, so he will want to fight the other bro if that wasn't the star bro. I could be mistaken there. He'll take his P-wing into this stage. This is one of 2 levels in this run which require vertical flight for you to complete the level. So he'll take this shell up here. He will kill these nippers, or the angry onions, as I like to call them. Break these blocks, and he'll make his way up this pipe. Meanwhile, Garion electing not to do the ground fort again. We're seeing a 5-3 from Garion. Not something we've seen a lot in this tournament. I don't know if we've seen it at all yet. I'm not seeing him pick up Karibo's shoe, which is a little bit. Makes me a little bit sad. We see this stage and not see the shoe. Meanwhile, he's just trying to get this cycle right on this piranha plant. Not able to find it, just taking a damage boost instead. And yeah, this is the cloud for Ace. And I missed it, but Ace did go into the Toad House and get the hammer suit, so we are planning to see a hammer kill on Bowser, it seems. We'll see him go for that skip and actually clip into the block, which is good, because I don't think he actually would have made it. The block clipping Mario's head, actually stopping Ace from what I believe probably would have been certain death there. So I think Ace's life just got saved by that block clip. We're going to see Garion go down and use the star to fight this other bro. This should be the P-wing. It is the P-wing for Garion. That's the one you want if you want to have that extra P-wing in your inventory for the run. Ace taking the shell, jumping, not taking a damage boost here, just landing on some enemies' heads instead. And a backwards butt slide to end this level for Ace. Garion making a smart decision here to not take a damage boost on these thwomps. Just waiting for him to go back up. Let's see, Ace skip over this level with a P-wing. This is another one of those levels that just it's easy to just use a P-wing, or in some cases a wall jump to just get over it, rather than actually going in and playing the level. We're going to see how this final fort of World 6 works out for Ace. He's going to stop here to get a 1-up. Maybe for a little bit of swag. I don't think he's in any real danger of losing 13 lives, so taking a little damage boost from the thwomp there. He's going to have to be careful on these stretches, and makes it through this room just fine. We see Garion maybe missing an A input there on a 5-4. That's a level where with all those spinners and all the sprites on the stage, sometimes you can get a little bit of lag and get the game losing your inputs a little bit. So I'm going to guess that's what that was. That's what it looked like on my end. So unfortunate, his A input not getting read there. We'll see if it's read this time. He does make the jump this time, and he should make it through just fine. Meanwhile, Ace moving on here. This is a stage he will have a chance to get a mushroom in this stage, and he wants to keep this mushroom all the way through this stage. And you'll see why in 7-1 if you're not aware. There's a wall clip in the beginning of 7-1 at the very next stage that requires you to be Big Mario to do. So both these runners going to want to come out of this Koopaling fight with a mushroom. We will see him avoid the fire, get his mushroom right here, hopefully keep it throughout the rest. Garion fallen in a pit. Unfortunately, going to be Small Mario again, have to play 5-7. Ace doing a good job of making it into the pipe. Let's hope for no mistakes here on this Lemmy fight. Easy peasy. So he will have a chance to do the clip in 7-1 rather than playing it. One of the longer stages 7-1 is. See Garion moving into the double lava fort, the sky fort of World 5. Stop in here for a star, which is maybe a good idea with all these Podoboos jumping up if you're not used to the rhythm of it. I haven't seen how many tries Ace has gone for. I think this is about 4. Looks like 5. He's jumping just a little bit early. If you see him brush up against the front wall there, it means he's jumping just a little bit too early into the corner. And does finally get the clip. And Garion make it through the sky fort. I don't know if we're going to see Ace use a P-Wing here, if we're going to see him use a star and set up. It looks like he's just going to go in dry for this level. So we will see Ace having to build a bridge here out of these bouncy blocks, or spawn some of them to land on, go backwards, come back up a pipe, and end up using the bouncy blocks to get over this gap, which you can get over if you have a tail or if you have a P-Wing, or if you do a slightly complicated strat at the beginning of the stage, which involves going into the stage with a star and building up P speed in a pretty tight little space. That's what you're going to see a lot of the maybe some of the higher up runners do later on in this tournament. But Ace electing to just build a bridge there. Maybe if he had kept a star earlier on, he may have gone for a star strat there. We'll see if he goes for star here. He will decide to go for the star strats on this stage. This stage has plenty of blocks. The first block in the stage will spawn a star, and then there's a few blocks elsewhere in the stage where if you have a star when you hit them, it will give you a star. Electing to not get any more stars in this stage, though, does kill Lakitu. More overkill from Ace. I was looking over at Garion's screen, not seeing where he was, and I realized his P meter is all the way to the right, so he must have used a P-Wing for this stage. These auto-scrollers, if you're not comfortable with them, P-Wing is an option, but you got to make sure you save P-Wings for later in the run where you need them. Such as the level Ace is entering now. This is the other level in the game which requires a vertical flight to beat the level. There's somewhere else where you can actually get a Tanuki suit or a leaf in this level, but much easier, much quicker just to use a P-Wing from your inventory going into it. And we should, I believe, see Ace use a P-Wing for the next level to fly over it as well. We're seeing a 7-7 from Ace. This is going to be... I don't know what if he was just jumping on the pipe for thinking about flying over, but we'll see him. This is another one of those star stages where if you have a star and you hit another block with a star in it, it will give you a star. If you don't have a star, it'll just give you a coin. So we're going to see Ace try to keep his star all the way through this level. And does a good job of not taking damage on that last one. He should be able to make it through the rest of the stage just fine. Meanwhile, Garion not able to do the damage boost from the spikes here. Or rather, not feeling comfortable with it. I'm not sure which, but see him making his way through this first Fortress of World 6. Getting a leaf and losing it immediately right here, unfortunately. He is going to spawn this star here, which is... It's going to be difficult. Now he is Small Mario. Looks like he's just going to let that star go. Ace playing 7-9, not going for any clips here, deciding to do the pipe maze instead. We'll probably see Ace stop for a fire flower right before he exits the stage. Yeah, good job getting through the maze for Ace. We're going to see Garion not quite feeling comfortable with the next jump, so he's going to make that platform move to get the mushroom. Actually ends up taking a death, falling off the side of the next platform. Ace dying in the final fort of World 7. I didn't quite see what happened there, but maybe getting a little bit too quick. Not quite comfortable with the strat yet, or just making a small misstep there. That star should help him get through most of the rest of the stage. He will probably stop for a mushroom here, and what you're probably going to see in the next room is he's going to take a damage boost on the dry bones to get through it a little bit quicker and easier. And there's the damage boost. And then he will fight Boom Boom, and then you'll see him use a music block to put the plant to sleep, and he'll move directly on to the auto-scroller. And on to World 8. Meanwhile, Garion entering this stage that requires flight without a tail. He's going to have to stop here and get a tail. Most players you're going to see enter that stage with a P-Wing. And unfortunately, the Koopa has despawned for him, but he's making some room so he can get some P-Speed with this Koopa shell to fly up. And looks like he's going to make it up there, so... A little bit slower to not use a P-Wing in there in the first place and having to go for the leaf in the middle of that level. But he may be saving another P-Wing, or I don't exactly know what his inventory is. He may have already used some P-Wings in earlier levels. Meanwhile, we are going to see Garion stop for the hammer suit as well, so we should see a Bowser hammer kill from both of these runners. This auto-scroller that Ace is in is actually... the auto-scroller in World 4 moves at half speed, which makes it very long. This auto-scroller moves at normal speed, but it's twice as long. And I believe this is actually the longest stage in the game. Garion playing it safe in this ice fortress, avoiding some thwomps, avoiding taking any damage here. Meanwhile, we're going to see Ace coming close to the this is the Ludwig von Koopa fight. This is the other Koopaling in the game, which when they stomp on the ground, if you are on the ground, you're going to get stunned and you're going to have a pretty bad time. It's pretty hard to get out of that stun lock. So hopefully Ace not going to have any trouble with that. And good job from Ace. We're going to see him moving on to World 8. Meanwhile, seeing a little bit of a tiptoeing a little bit from Gary in here. Not really sure what to do about this Buster Beetle. I think that's their name. I don't even know the names of these guys. He will pick up a white block to knock out the rest of these nippers, make his way through the rest of the stage. So World 8, we are coming to a close here for Ace. Not quite on PB pace, but still, judging by his PB, it's fairly consistent. Pretty good good job executing strats from Ace so far. Let's hope World 8 goes just as well. A little bit of tank swag from him right there. You're going to see Garion also stopping for that same mushroom. Taking some damage now. Garion being a small Mario here, the rest of this fortress can be a little bit tricky. Getting almost too close to a thwomp right there. And as long as you know where the stretch boos are going to spawn, it's pretty... meanwhile, falling in the middle of the room... Not recommended there, but he does manage to get out of it. And no problems with Boom Boom there. Meanwhile, Ace, unfortunately picking up a bomb right as it's going off and losing his tail. His next chance to get a power-up, he will be able to get fire in the boat if he wishes, but it's a pretty tricky power-up to get without getting shot. So I'm not sure if we'll see him go for that, or if we'll see him use something from his inventory later in the run. And he is going for it, and elects to bail out of there, luckily getting out with his remaining power-up intact. He thought about it. I was kind of excited to see it. Gonna see Garion playing it safe around this fire shooting out of the airship here. And we're gonna see if he can also get his mushroom and keep it through to 7-1. Otherwise, we are gonna see some extra free Mario Bros for 7-1 that you normally wouldn't see in a Warpless run. Meanwhile, we've got some information about this tournament on Speed Gaming, where you can see the schedule of upcoming races in the bracket. As well as previous VODs that have been saved of previous races. And looks like we're going to get the second hand from Ace. That's the easiest hand to deal with, so if he's looking for an extra tail power-up, he may be happy to get the second hand. Hopefully not getting the third one. Meanwhile, Garion electing not to do the clips. I guess he didn't make it through with a mushroom, so electing to cloud over 7-1. We'll see a strategy for 7-2, equally interesting stage strat-wise. It looks like we're going to see a more careful strat from him. Meanwhile, Ace using the strat that I use as well on this airship. If you got an extra P-Wing, just use it on this airship. And if you end up, by the time you see the nose of the final ship in this level, if you stop flying, you will land right on the pipe. So a nice safe strat. If you know where to stop flying so you're not hunting around for the pipe at the end of the level, it doesn't really lose any time. Some people may look down on a strat like this, but in a tournament race where your standings in the bracket is on the line, no problem with it at all. Take all the safety you can get. Garion making his way through 7-2 now. So only one hand for Ace. We're going to see him move on to 8-1. Pretty complicated stage that the game throws a lot at you. And Ace knowing it, too. Using his final cloud, I believe, to get over 8-1. And 8-2 taking the easy strat here, too. Not wanting to take any deaths here. Wanting to close out this run on a high note. So Ace doing a good job of inventory management, saving some of his best items for World 8 here. We use a star to go into the final fort of the game before Bowser. That's pretty common here to get through these roto discs, or waffles as we like to call them. And already with fire, he's got the hammer suit, so it doesn't really matter if he stops or not to get fire here, which he won't have to now, obviously. Or I guess he did stop earlier in the stage to get fire, my bad. And does make the one cycle on the P switch. Meanwhile, because Garion used that cloud in 7-1, and I believe he used another one earlier, perhaps. Having to play this water auto-scroller, which is treacherous as he's finding out, which I'm sure he's played this before as a randomizer player, but looking around to see if he's got an inventory that'll help him. He's going to take a star into this level now. It's everybody's favorite combination of level attributes, water and auto-scroller in a Mario game. You know you're in for something. Meanwhile, Ace doing a good job, jumping a little bit too much for what we call the super tank strat, but making it through here okay. The super tank strategy: just get to the far right of the screen, spam fireballs if you got him, and jump when it looks like you need to jump, and you should make it through this stage just fine. It's a safe and easy speedrun strategy that pretty much anybody can do. We'll see him get down the pipe and fight Boom Boom, and he will make his way onto Bowser. You know, we're seeing Garion having a little bit of trouble with this water auto-scroller in 7-4. Does manage to get the mushroom this time, but this is a tough level. He's probably wishing right now that he had just played 7-1 instead. It's a little bit safer. Not as many enemies to lose power-ups to. Ace using a star to get past Bowser's lasers. Moving in here with the hammer suit. If he can keep it all the way through, we'll get to see a very quick kill on Bowser. And taking a few tries on this clip here. Should get it any moment now, though. There he goes. One more laser to avoid, some more fireballs to avoid coming up, and then we will see him fighting Bowser. Garion still in 7-4, doing his best to avoid all these enemies in this stage. Meanwhile, 5 hammers from Mario will kill Bowser. And we're going to have about, let's see if I can guess this time. Looks like about a 1 hour and 27 second run. So GG to Ace. We'll switch on over to Garion's audio. We'll see if Ace... let's see, that is an official SRL time of 1 hour and 32 seconds, so just over the 1 hour mark. Good showing from Ace. Big GG's to Ace. We'll see if we can get him in here for an interview. Well, we're seeing Garion not using a P-Wing to go into this stage, so he's going to have to find the Tanuki suit, I believe it's in this stage, to fly up to the top. Ace, GG, how's it going? Not sure if we got Ace on the line or not. He is here in the booth with me, though. Ace, are you there?
Yo, I'm here, but I apparently cannot hear you for some reason. Give me a second to see if that's on my end.
Okay.
Shouldn't be on my end, but you never know. I had problems earlier.
So we'll see if Ace can get that sorted out. Meanwhile, Garion finding the Tanuki suit in this fortress. We're going to see him take flight here to go up to the pipe at the top of the level, which will take him to Boom Boom's room. And it looks like he's just missed the pipe, so he's going to have to go down and get P-Speed again.
Let me turn off my game audio and turn you up and see if that helps anything, because I still can't hear you.
Okay. So we're gonna move Ace out of the channel, let him try to get stuff figured out. Meanwhile, Garion picking up some extra lives, probably not on purpose here, but just for good measure. The fresh fiber, as we call it. Hopefully we can get Ace in here for an interview to talk about his run. Gonna see Garion taking a safer fly over the level approach. And doing some good job to avoid some fireballs, but the other piranha plants and the nippers not having any of it. Just wants to get down here and get this hammer suit, so hopefully he can get down in here and keep this hammer suit for as long as possible. Doing a good job of avoiding fireballs so far. And the last angry, spicy onion. Again, not letting him get out with that hammer suit. We are not going to see any clip attempts from Garion either, so no clip attempts from either player today, but hopefully see Garion make it through the maze just as well as Ace did.
Hello?
Are you here this time? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Welcome, Ace.
Welcome. You were already welcome, I guess.
I was already welcome, yeah. But big GG to you. That's a good time to finish a race with. How do you feel about it?
I guess it was decent. I didn't sub-hour, but thankfully there were a few major mistakes, so... I mean, the one mistake in the desert wasn't really even my fault. I hit the pixel border and the sun just he went and he sniped me, so...
Yeah, I was noting that. I was like, it on my screen, I couldn't even really tell if that extra pixel was even out of the slope at all, or what was going on there, but it looked like just a bit of bad luck from you with the sun there.
Yeah, and I had that little slip up in 7F2 as well, where I just totally whiffed that jump. That was rather embarrassing.
I mean, it's to be expected that there's going to be some mistakes in a tournament race, but overall, it seemed like a pretty clean showing from you.
Yeah, for the most part, no real complaints. It was a pretty decent run.
Yeah, hard to complain about getting a win, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's true. Is Garion doing okay? I'm not watching him right now.
He is attempting the last fort of World 7 right now.
Oh wow, is he okay? Like, what happened?
He's had a couple little slip-ups here and there. I think maybe being used to randomizer, not exactly used to vanilla, with some of his inventory management was off a little bit in World 7, but we're seeing him chugging along, making it through. I fully expect him to finish the race.
Yeah, and I saw someone in chat saying something about dying at the end of an auto-scroller. I knew it wasn't me, so I figured it had to apply to Garion, and that is something I would not wish upon any runner.
Yeah, that's...
dying at the end of an auto-scroller is certainly a fate worse than death.
Dying anywhere in an auto-scroller. I think the one auto-scroller that comes to mind that I remember him dying in was in World 3, and it kind of flew back to the main part of the overworld, and I was really crossing my fingers hoping that he got a good landing for it, that it wasn't over like one of those where the bridge was open and he couldn't get to it, or, you know, something like that.
Yeah,
but luckily
I've
it was...
been in that kind of circumstance before myself. It's not pleasant.
Yeah, luckily it was a good spawn for him, and he made it through the second time, but...
Yeah, the only thing that's worse than dying on an airship is when it flies away. It goes somewhere where you have to do extra stages just to get another chance at the airship.
Right. Well, anyway, I'm going to look at the bracket here and see who you will be facing next. It looks like you'll be facing the loser of the Mitch Flower Power and Supersonic 71087 match, which is coming up later today, I believe. Any thoughts about that?
Well, my initial thought is I'm imagining Mitch Flower Power, the man, is not gonna lose. So I highly doubt I'll be facing Mitch.
Yeah, sorry, Supersonic, but if I'm putting money on it, I'm probably gonna put it on Mitch as well.
Yeah, no offense to the other guy. No offense to Supersonic. I just really don't think Mitch is gonna lose that match.
Yeah, Supersonic's kind of been working on his PB lately and really making some big strides in it. I
what
believe
is
Mitch...
his PB right now, anyway?
Let me check it for you.
And say again?
His PB is 56.25.
That's pretty solid.
It's a very solid PB.
It's better than my PB. I've got a high 57.
I know that 57 is that's a nice time to have. I'm still searching for the 57 myself, so.
I do think my 57 is improvable even with my current strats, though, so I'm trying to put some work into improving that.
Yeah, I noticed some early tail strats. Do you think you'll be sticking to those for a little while, or do you think you're going to try to change those up for your next attempts?
Well, I'll be sticking with the tail strats until I discern that I can't possibly get my time any lower without changing what my strats are. That'll be when I start trying to figure out all the fast strats all the pros use.
Of course, yeah. I did notice that there was a Tanuki suit that you had gotten in World 5, and it looked like you were planning on doing some strats with that. Can you elaborate on that anymore?
Yeah, I did mention to the chat, I knew I was at least a little bit ahead at that point, so we were going to do some potaboo stomping, but unfortunately I lost the suit, so alas, no potaboo stomping today.
Yeah, unfortunate, but...
Fun to statue stomp stuff.
Of course, yeah. plenty, otherwise, plenty of other swag. I noticed some, trying to chain some enemies together on airships to get extra one-ups. Shooting enemies that were already behind you that weren't a threat anymore. I definitely noted that you got some overkill on some enemies. So that was all around pretty fun to watch. We enjoyed the swag. A great show you put on.
Thank you, sir. So where was it that apparently one of the commentators said something about, now normally this would be something that would be run ending, but apparently Ace is fine. What had happened there?
I think that might have been when I was talking about the, if I'm remembering right, I think that was the beginning of 5-2 where you have to bounce up and not fall down in the big pit. To the bottom of 5-2. I think that was that.
Yeah, I've gotten pretty decent at that.
Yeah, we were noting that it's happened to a few people in the tournament so far, and it's kind of it'll end a lot of people's runs.
Yeah, that's a pretty big jump to make, and if you do screw it up, you probably are going down there.
With those single bouncy blocks, it's if you don't really know how to predict where you're going to bounce or how you're going to bounce off of them, then it can be scary. But you made it through that one fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I saw someone in chat mention every time you see the bottom of 5-2, it's like you're seeing DLC or something for the first time.
Yeah,
I thought that was hilarious, and it is so true.
It is true, yeah.
The bottom of 5-2.
It's a cool little part of the level, and it is unfortunate you don't see it, but I would rather not play it in a run, that's for sure. So we are seeing Garion moving on into the boat auto-scroller now. So he has made it out of 7 now. Also, I did notice one thing, Ace. You only got one hand. I was wondering how many hands were in your PB. Looks like maybe losing Ace there for a moment. Go ahead.
My PB actually has only one hand in it.
I was noting, I guess, that you did manage to get the easiest hand to play, so I'm sure you were happy about that.
Yeah, my PB also gets the Potaboo hand. So, I tied my PB for number of hands and which hand I got. So, pretty fair there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I got some teenagers behind me. I'm not alone.
I was wondering, yeah.
Yeah, I'm at the rec pavilion up at camp. I can't really do much about it.
I gotcha.
That's why I was silent for a minute before, just a moment ago. I turned up my input sensitivity, hoping that would help, but it didn't help because it drowned me out, too.
I gotcha. We're seeing Garion move on into the hands. He's going to get the first hand. Hopefully no more. You really don't want to see him get that many hands. Avoiding some hammer bro tosses there, and we should hopefully see him move through the rest of the stage pretty easily. So I'm wondering if he's gonna also, I'm wondering if he's gonna save a P-wing for this airship as well. I haven't seen his inventory lately, so we'll see what he's got. And no more hands.
Air Force.
You do what now?
I love to have a P-Wing for 8 Air Force. That stage still scares me, and I have never gotten along with 8-1.
Yeah, I did notice you saved a collab for 8-1, and if I was just saying right before I thought you were going to go into it, and I was like, it's 8-1, pretty treacherous stage. The game throws a lot at you. And no sooner that I stopped saying that, you cloud up, and I'm like, yep, Ace knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he knows what's coming.
Game as I have done, I have never gotten along with 8-1, and it doesn't like me either, so it's fine. I skip it and we get along fine.
Well, we're seeing Garion make some pretty tight jumps here, and unfortunately dying almost at the end of the Air Force. I guess he didn't have another P-Wing, so he's going to have to play another hand here.
That'll get him a leaf at least.
Yeah, he did already have one leaf from... he actually dies in this hand too, but he already had a leaf from playing the first hand. He's going to play the second hand again.
Make him a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, not really sure. I don't think he actually used a leaf going into it. I think maybe he just forgot about it or was just wanting to get the airship over with. I'm not sure.
I'm curious, has anyone accidentally a warp whistle at any point in this tournament yet?
Crossing my fingers that it doesn't happen, and I'm knocking on wood and doing all the superstitious things, but as far as I know, no one has done it yet, and hopefully it won't happen.
Yeah, I tend to accidentally use a warp whistle exactly once a year, and 2018 is already out of the way. My accidental warp whistle usage came in January.
Nice, so hopefully you're taking one for the team there, and nobody in this tournament will accidentally do that. Turns out Garion did have another P-Wing, and he is P-Winging the Air Force now. Not sure why he didn't do it the first time, maybe just not knowing what he had in his inventory. Yeah, probably just forgot.
He might just, like, his nerves might be shot, he might be on tilt, and he just forgot.
Let's see, making it to the end here, so he will be moving into 8-1. As long as this Boom Boom fight goes well, and it looks like it's going to go just fine.
I saw some chatters also earlier discussing the whole dance pad thing, and the run is approached slightly differently on dance pad than it is when I'm holding a controller in my hand. P-Wings are important for different stages. I have to P-Wing Bowser's Castle if I want to get it done in anything resembling a reasonable time. I think I used to P-Wing 3-8 as well, but now I try to bring a tail there and it doesn't work out half the time.
It's like Garion having a little bit of trouble with 8-1 as well, so maybe wishing he had I think what happened was his big problem in World 7 was he didn't go into 7-1 as Big Mario, so he clouded over it instead, knowing he couldn't clip through it, and then he didn't have any clouds left, so he had to play 7-4, the water auto-scroller.
Yeah, that's one of the possible reasons that I pick up the hammer suit. It's nice to have for Bowser, but just in case for some reason Lemmy runs me over on that ball of his, I have something that I can use that'll make me big in 7-1. I can get that 7-1 clip skip for the sacrifice of the hammer suit if need be.
That's pretty smart thinking. I noticed Garion did also pick up the hammer suit, but not electing to use it in that sense on 7-1. But that's something I'd never even considered that, so...
Oh yeah, I've had to do it a couple times.
I've been trying to figure out whether or not I want to stop and pick up the hammer suit myself.
Yeah, it doesn't take very long to pick the thing up, and it goes in your inventory, so you can just use it wherever you want.
Hopefully not accidentally using it like a whistle.
Yeah, and I've always had problems trying to keep that hammer suit from 7-8. I have never been able to keep that thing all the way to Bowser's Castle.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in between 7-8 and Bowser's Castle that make it really difficult.
Yeah, more stuff than I'm comfortable with throwing hammers at.
Yeah, it kind of changes the strats completely. It's like you have to forget how to use fire and learn how to use hammers. It's very difficult to do, needless to say.
And 7F2 becomes a nightmare with the hammer suit.
Meanwhile, speaking of fortresses, Garion making his way into the final fort of the game before Bowser. We'll see if he can... I don't know if he's going to pick up fire here. I guess If it were me, I'd stop to pick up fire, even if I had the hammer suit in my inventory, just for the super tank in the next level. A lot easier with fire.
Yeah, you'll note that I even stopped to pick up the fire flower just to get rid of my tail, because I've realized that if I keep my tail, I run out of P speed and I just don't make the last door half the time.
Yeah, it looks like Garion not making the first cycle on the P switch, but also not stopping to get the fire flower. There's actually a fire flower right above that on the door that's on the last conveyor belt in the last room before Boom Boom. Kind of expected him to, when he had to respawn the P switch, to stop and get that fire flower, but looks like he's just going to keep the tail through the tank. So 2 levels left for Garion now.
I apologize again for all the noise behind me.
That's understandable.
Yeah, as I said, I'm not at home. I'm on vacation, and I'm in a rather public place.
We certainly appreciate you taking time out of your vacation for the race.
Oh, absolutely, man. I love this game.
I mean, I don't know if I could have done it on vacation. Yeah, the community is great. I don't know that if I were on vacation, I just don't know if I could have done it. I think I would have been a little bit too relaxed from being on vacation or just out of my element. But again, just didn't seem like that was affecting you at all. So great job.
Oh yeah, man, no problems at all.
So we're seeing Garion do a pretty good job with this tail on the super tank. It works. This level should work just as well with the tail as it does with fire, as long as you know where to swing the tail to hit the rocky wrenches out of the way.
Yeah, I was showing off the B button mashing strats earlier myself.
So he will make his way into the Boom Boom fight, and we'll see him take on Bowser.
Yeah, you gotta love those patented Classic Gamer 88 just mash B and jump as needed TM strats.
Yeah, Mario 3 really having a little bit of shoot 'em up action, a little bit of inventory management, kind of like a Zelda game, platforming like you'd expect in a Mario game. A little bit of all of it. I mean, of course, it's a platformer at its heart, but
well,
you get a little bit of
that
everything.
Modern Zelda games do have platforming.
That's very true. Gets the 1-up clip on the first try. He'll try his best to
yeah, I had a lot of trouble with that myself.
It looks like we might be seeing Garion take the lower route to Bowser. He didn't quite make it up onto that last jump. So going for the alternate route and actually losing his hammer suit on a Podoboo, unfortunately. We'll see him stop to get a tail just for a little bit of a damage boost safety.
Yeah, it definitely pays to know what is on that lower route just in case, for whatever reason, you have to take it.
Yeah, it seems like Bowser's fireballs in the room before Bowser on that lower route are a little bit harder to avoid than they are in the upper route. That's
you have to
one
be
of the main reasons.
Careful on the lower route.
Yeah, one of the main reasons I wouldn't want to take it. Meanwhile, he's made his way into Bowser's room. He's gonna have to fight him the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, you'll also note that on the lower route in that final hallway, even though the platforms are solid instead of donut lifts, the fireballs are in much worse positions that are much harder to avoid.
Yeah, it looks like Garion not making use of the fact that Bowser's hitbox is only in his head. You can actually crouch in this room. It's a little terrifying at first if you've never done it before, but you can actually crouch into this and let Bowser jump on top of you. But it looks like he is going to kill Bowser anyway. That is going to be just about right on the 125 mark, I believe. So GG to Garion finishing this race.
Good on him, man. He stuck it out. I'm proud of him.
That is a 125.02 and an SRL official time of 125.03. So good job on Garion getting through that race. That, unfortunately, this being a loser's round race, that's going to be his last race, and here he is, Garion.
Yo, what's up,
GG,
man?
good on finishing the race. How you feeling, man?
Thank you. That was just felt like everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yeah, seemed like some missteps there. I noticed particularly using that cloud on 7-1 and not being able to use it on 7-4. It seemed like you were feeling the heat from that. I don't know if you're...
The cloud that I normally get.
What's that?
I normally get an extra cloud, so I normally do both 7-1 and 7-4 with the cloud.
Ah, okay.
I missed a cloud somewhere.
I didn't catch where you missed that. It must have been, I would imagine, in World 6. Maybe that one got missed somehow. But yeah, 7-4, a pretty treacherous level. Unfortunately, I guess that's going to be your last race in the tournament. So sorry to see you go, but glad to see you stick through and finish this race today for sure.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the tournament. I was surprised to even win one race, so...
Yeah, luckily not leaving empty-handed. Did win that first race. Let's see here. Either of you racers have any other words for us?
Not really. I mean, I ended up getting to talk for a good long time. Have anything to say, Garion?
Only thing I have to say is I hate 7F2.
That's fair.
Yeah, that stage was mean to both of us tonight. I whiffed a jump that should have been easy, and I died.
Yeah, I had trouble with it last night in the randomizer race, and then again tonight.
Yeah, that is certainly a lot of people's, maybe some of their least favorite levels and least favorite fortress.
Yeah, I know growing up I used to hate 7F2.
I certainly still hate it, so there's no love lost between me and 7F2. It sounds like none between you guys either.
True enough.
That is not it for the Super Mario 3 action for the day. We do have coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern. We've got, let me get my schedule out here. We've got Louis versus Stewie Cartman. That should be a great race.
That's a good match.
That'll be coming up on this channel in about 30 minutes. About an hour and a half after that starts on this same channel, we got a Mario 3 marathon going on. We got Ryko Ryder versus Mr. Cab 55. Then at 8 o'clock p.m. on Speed Gaming 3, Supersonic versus Mitch Flower Power, as we noted earlier. And then Lasso 42 versus Calco tonight on Speed Gaming at 9 p.m. Eastern. A lot of Mario 3 for you guys today, as this, I believe, will end the... Most of these are round 1 winners bracket races and round 2 losers bracket races. So a lot of good stuff coming up for you guys. So stick around if you want to see more Mario 3. The next one's coming up here in about 30 minutes on this channel. With that being said, big shout outs to the Speed Gaming community. Big shout outs to the Mario 3 community. If you like what you see from these racers, definitely go give them a follow. I'm going to give their information in chat. So there's all the information about the tournament you would need in chat. A link to the bracket, a link to the rest of the schedule, and a link to previous VODs of previous races in the tournament, as well as a link to both these runners and the commentary Twitch channels. Thank you guys very much for being here for the interview.
Absolutely.
Garion,
thanks for doing the commentary.
Yeah, absolutely. Garion, sorry to see you go, and Ace, we're looking forward to your next match against the loser of Supersonic versus Mitch Flower Power later tonight. I'm sure you'll be watching that first to figure out who you got to face. That being said,
I may or may not be able to do that, since I'll probably have to head back to the camp trailer, and we don't have internet there this year.
Oh, well. You'll find out eventually one way or another.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back on over to the Speed Gaming crew, and we will see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.